John Shelsy, S-H-E-L-S-Y, John Shelsy. And I was in the U.S. Army and served my 16 months of duty in Korea. So when I went to the school at Fort Devens, Massachusetts for the Army Security Agency, it was highly secretive information, highly secretive school. I graduated from that school. 42 started the class, 21 finished, and I was 21st. So I got by, which was good. Then I was sent to Korea to practice, if we could say that, our MOS, Military Occupational Specialty, which if I give you a general summary of the Army Security Agency, which was attached to the NSA, National Security Agency, we were attached to snoop on the enemy, which was all legal. It was a matter of finding out where North Korean soldiers and units of tanks and artillery were located, as well as at that time China had entered the Korean War, and just north of us, about 6 miles, was 300,000 Chinese soldiers and probably 140,000 South Koreans. They were there on the other side of the demilitarized zone, a DMZ. DMZ was narrow then, but then it got to be 2 miles wide. We were on this side with the United States Army, the infantry divisions, I can name a bunch of them, totaling about 39,000, 42,000 U.S. soldiers, plus the Army Security Agency, plus all other support groups. When the truce was signed in 1953, fighting didn't actually stop. It was a matter for us in ASA to advise infantry units and other commands of where the enemy was, what were they doing. And we could find out by, it's awful antique sounding now, but it was a matter of having antennas that could pick up big quantities of metal. Quantities of metal would be tanks, fire field guns, small guns, and all kinds of weapons. So we did that and kept them advised. We also could send telegrams to the Pentagon, to our command post in Tokyo at the time. And to get a telegram to the Pentagon, give them advice and information, and then come back to Tokyo to us, it would take 2 days. Interesting, in your time, Andy and Nora, it would take about 4/10 of a second via satellite. So it is kind of that different, so fast. So it was interesting work to do, and we would track all that and help each other out. Now Korea was cold. Korea winters, I put 2 Korea winters in there. I was 19 years old. I got out there, I was 20 years old and frozen. 2 winters. It would get to be near 40 below. And we didn't have wind chill. It was a matter of what the temperature read. And the wind was from the north, Russian Siberian, and it was brutal. Well, lots of times weapons wouldn't fire. Lots of times weapons froze. Water-cooled weapons froze. Even air-cooled weapons. Trucks wouldn't run. So things came to a stall a lot of times. Now when I got there after the truce was signed, there were still raids going on because the South Koreans, which had a fairly large size army, maybe near 200,000, weaponed and in uniform on our side. And we were training them all the time. It was a matter of raids occurring. I'm not sure who were doing the raids, but they were trying to steal generators. They were trying to steal our trucks. It was after the truce when it wasn't a matter of killing each other as such, but you would, and we set a hillside on fire with machine gun fire just to get them off the hill. We never knew who they were. To steal what we had in weapons pools and truck pools and so forth. And there were some tough situations. We always carried our arms. We always had 45s, or we had a thing called a burp gun, looked like a grease gun that fired 45 bullets. And those raids would continue for quite a while. They seemed to cease after into 1955, because then people started to rebuild what we all knocked down. And I mentioned a couple times, I said when I got to Seoul, I was the tallest thing in Seoul, Korea. Everything was below me because everything had been burned. When I got to Seoul from, and I failed to mention that I went from Fort Devens, Massachusetts to Seattle, Washington on a train. At Seattle we got a troop ship. Everything at that time, nobody flew, it traveled by troop ship. It took 17 days to get over to Yokohama, Japan. Then we flew to Korea.